Memories of the past began to attack me. Do you remember the 2016 film adaptation of the novel of the same name, Never Gone? This drama not only brings together many super good-looking star casts, but also the best out of print in the youth pain literature series, but some have even left. Revisiting the old place was originally to carve a boat and ask for a sword, and Cheng Zheng was still here that year. There is also Mo Yuhua, who likes Zhou Zi, who is given everything, but is still a passerby in life. The childhood sweetheart Meng Shui has been in love for more than 10 years in her heart, but in the end this relationship ended without a problem. It is worth mentioning that now actor Qiao Renliang has unfortunately passed away, and another is still in prison. Without further ado, today we will revisit this classic youth movie Never Gone. This year, Su Yunjin's father fell seriously ill, and the already poor family situation became more tense. Like all parents who want their daughters to become phoenixes, they put all their connections and savings into order for her to be admitted to an ideal university. Let her transfer from the suburbs to one of the best high schools in the city. In 2007, when Su Yunjin first came to the high school campus, she was out of place with her surroundings due to her poor family. She dragged her heavy luggage, her eyes full of nervousness and helplessness. But she had a firm pace. And at this time a student was riding a top-of-the-line motorcycle, looking flamboyant and uninhibited. He was walking through the campus at high speed, completely ignoring the water pipes on the side of the road. The moment his motorcycle crushed the water pipe, the water gushed out directly, soaking Su Yunjin from head to toe. This made her even more embarrassed when she was already out of place. The boy's name is Cheng Zheng, the rich second generation of the stars and the moon, and he is also the Prince Charming in the minds of the girls in the school. He has always had a sense of superiority, and Su Yunjin was angry and embarrassed. She endured the embarrassment and caught up with her, wanting to discuss with Cheng Zheng's theory. She just said a word. At this time, a baseball flew in, and it was about to hit Su Yunjin, and Cheng Zheng subconsciously stretched out his hand to catch it accurately. Be careful in the future. Fortunately, not every classmate is like this. For example, Mo Yuhua, her classmate. Mo Yuhua is from a similar family background to her, and she is her first and only friend in this school. This unbiased kindness made Su Yunjin, who had just encountered embarrassment, particularly moved. This also made her feel a sense of belonging for the first time on an unfamiliar campus. Walking in front of her was Meng Shui. She was Cheng Zheng's childhood sweetheart, and she was also the one who had been in love with Cheng Zheng for many years. And the student behind her is called Song Ming. He has a simple and low-key personality. Since high school, my heart has been full of Meng Shui. Zhou Zi, he and Cheng Zheng are extremely close friends, with a good family background, but their grades are very poor. He is a cynical young man. At this time, a ball hit Zhou Zi's eyebrows. When Su Yunjin picked up the baseball, she happened to look at Cheng Zheng, and Su Yunjin only felt that Cheng Zheng was arrogant and rude at first. She was full of disgust towards him, and Cheng Zheng also noticed this stubborn girl who was completely different from the glamorous classmates around her. This special first impression attracted him. At that time, Su Yunjin never expected that he would become the beginning of her senior year of high school, and even later. Walking into the classroom, the teacher arranged a seat. Su Yunjin found that her seat happened to be right in front of Cheng Zheng. This made the two people who had just been upset in the corridor have to turn on the close relationship mode. After sitting down, Cheng Zheng had no intention of stopping, always thinking about teasing Su Yunjin. After class, Meng Shui was responsible for distributing the math test papers that had just been graded. When reading the scores of other students, Meng Shui read the scores normal. But when she turned to Su Yunjin's test paper and saw the low score of 52 points above, she suddenly paused. She didn't read out the score immediately, but walked up to Su Yunjin in silence and gently placed the test paper on her desk. Both of them have bad grades, and they are evenly matched. Zhou Zi immediately ridiculed loudly in a cynical tone. This made Su Yunjin feel more embarrassed. Cheng Zheng, who was on the side, although he didn't say anything, firmly remembered Su Yunjin's bad math scores. He wanted to find an opportunity to get closer to Su Yunjin, and this 52 points just gave him a reasonable reason. Su Yunjin's math score was very poor, and he was at a loss for the workbook. She got up and left the classroom with the workbook in her arms. Cheng Zheng saw that she would most likely not be able to solve the problem, and she didn't want to ask others for help. He was already paying special attention to Su Yunjin and wanted to find an opportunity to get closer to her. So he deliberately stepped forward and snatched her workbook. After he grabbed it, he deliberately threw the exercise book around in his hand, just to prevent Su Yunjin from getting it. The playful act of the two scrambling for the exercise book came to an abrupt end after a sanitary napkin fell out of the book. Su Yunjin's face instantly turned red, and she broke free from Cheng Zheng in shame and annoyance. She slapped him directly, then turned around and ran out of the classroom. Zhou Zi actually picked it up and asked stupidly, "What a big band-aid." It made everyone laugh. Cheng Zheng looked at the things on the ground, and then thought of Su Yunjin's embarrassed expression, and suddenly realized that his joke was too much. In order to apologize, he silently took the workbook and drew the key points of the exercises with a red pen. He also wrote, "If you don't know, ask, and quietly handed the workbook back to Su Yunjin. Su Yunjin couldn't stand Cheng Zhang's frequent provocations and wanted to use this to give him a warning to restrain his behavior. Su Yunjin deliberately moved her chair back a lot, deliberately using the chair legs to press Cheng Zhang's feet behind her. The confrontation also showed signs of easing with such an apologetic gesture. At the end of class, Su Yunjin called home to offer condolences. Mo Yuhua's character of daring to love and hate. She also complimented Su Yunjin's introverted and inferior temperament, and the two became partners in life. After school, Su Yunjin went to the cafeteria with her newly met friends. On the way, she was stopped by Zhou Zi. At this time, Cheng Zheng leaned on Zhou Zi, and one foot was exaggerated and thickly bandaged. After careful looking, we will find that it is the right foot that is pressed, but he is bandaging the left foot. Zhou Zi spoke first, and he was upset for Cheng Zheng. He actually asked Su Yunjin to be taken to the cafeteria by Cheng Zheng. If she doesn't want to, she needs to lose money. Cheng Zheng originally wanted to have the opportunity to get close to Su Yunjin, but Zhou Zi did not understand what he meant. Su Yunjin was already embarrassed and had no choice but to hand over her meal card as compensation. One day at noon, Cheng Zheng saw Su Yunjin sitting alone in the corner in the cafeteria with only a steamed bun in front of her. She was silently gnawing on her hunger. Seeing this, Mo Yuhua directly shared his meal with Su Yunjin. Although Su Yunjin was embarrassed, she was very strong in her heart. Now that the card is given to them, they will not come back. And Zhou Zi held this meal card. He unceremoniously invited everyone to eat ice cream and directly wiped out all the money in the card. They were in a playful mentality, but they didn't realize that this meal card was the key to Su Yunjin's food. He didn't expect that this Su Yunjin really had no money, and soon the card would be handsome. That was Su Yunjin's living expenses for a month. Cheng Zheng instantly understood that it was his joke with Zhou Zi that put Su Yunjin in a dilemma where eating was a problem. He looked at Su Yunjin pretending to be calm and unwilling to show embarrassment. His heart was full of guilt and distress. Cheng Zheng did not make a sound, nor did he directly give Su Yunjin money or buy food in a charity-like way. He quietly went to recharge Su Yunjin's meal card. He knew that Su Yunjin had strong self-esteem, so he did all this help in a low-key and obscure manner. In his spare time, Cheng Zheng wore sportswear and played neat and handsome. There were many female students around. He was a dazzling presence in the crowd, and he saw Su Yunjin take the initiative to find. He was a little surprised. It turned out that after Su Yunjin found that there was more money in the meal card, he immediately guessed that it was Cheng Zheng. She had a strong self-esteem and was unwilling to accept this kind of help with the meaning of alms. So she went straight to the point and took out the money and handed it to him. She insisted on standing still and refused to give in. She insisted that Cheng Zheng accept the money. After Meng Shui saw it, she immediately took the money to break the deadlock. Su Yunjin turned around and left. She said she didn't need handouts from others. Meng Shui complained that Su Yunjin did not appreciate it, and she returned the money to Cheng Zheng. At this time, Cheng Zheng's mind was full of thoughts about how to help Su Yunjin. She didn't care about Meng Shui in front of him, which also made Meng Shui even more jealous of Su Yunjin. Cheng Zheng saw Su Yunjin's resolute attitude and knew that it would be useless to push hard. He wanted to find more opportunities to contact Su Yunjin, so he changed the topic and directly proposed to help Su Yunjin tutor mathematics. He knew that Su Yunjin's family was not good, and the college entrance examination was an important way for her to change her fate. This proposal accurately hit Su Yunjin's weakness. Her father was still seriously ill and bedridden, and the family conditions were still so difficult. It was not easy to send her to this school. She remembered her parents' instructions. After Su Yunjin was stunned for a moment, he looked at Cheng Zheng's serious expression and then thought of his poor math scores. She finally acquiesced to tutor. Cheng Zheng knew that Su Yunjin had a restrained and strong personality, and tutoring directly in the class would make her feel uncomfortable. This may also attract discussion from classmates, so they deliberately choose the relatively less noisy time after school. He sent out tutoring invitations in a low-key and slightly youthful way of handing over notes. Su Yunjin waited for Cheng Zheng after arriving at the rooftop. He was already waiting there. In order to let Su Yunjin better understand the knowledge points, Cheng Zheng did not only explain in books, but also wrote mathematical formulas and exercise analysis on the floor of the rooftop. The rooftop under the sunset became an exclusive space for the two of them. There are no classroom constraints, and there is less attention from classmates. This sense of privacy gradually relaxed the originally reserved two. Slowly, Su Yunjin let go of her prejudice. Not only did she listen carefully to Cheng Zheng's lectures, but she occasionally argued with him about a topic. It is undeniable that Cheng Zheng's problem-solving ideas are often concise and effective, although his methods are still simple and crude. Gradually, there seemed to be some tacit secrets between them. Actually, that's a well-known little secret. Her hard work quickly paid off. Su Yunjin, who originally only scored 52 points, later successfully jumped to more than 80 points in mathematics. Her progress made Cheng Zheng full of joy, and the relationship between the two became conspicuous on campus. In these interactions between you and me, Su Yunjin no longer felt that Cheng Zheng was just a mischievous young man. Instead, she began to notice his attentiveness. This person doesn't seem to hate it that much anymore. It's good to have someone to help. As Su Yunjin's only close friend, Mo Yuhua is happy with her results. When they were walking by the playground, They saw Cheng Zheng and Zhou Zi playing, and they talked about their feelings. Mo Yuhua did not shy away from revealing his love for Zhou Zi to Su Yunjin. She wasn't watching baseball. In fact, she was watching Zhou Zi. The boys are competing. In fact, Su Yunjin is looking at Cheng Zheng. When she mentioned Cheng Zheng, Su Yunjin's eyes dodged and did not show her feelings to her friends. At this moment, Su Yunjin was hurriedly shouted away by her classmates. Cheng Zheng on the field looked dazed, and when he came to Su Yunjin later, Mo Yuhua told him that something had happened to Su Yunjin's family. Her family came home in an emergency. After Cheng Zheng listened, he was very worried about Su Yunjin. In the follow-up class, Su Yunjin's absence made Cheng Zheng very frustrated. He also lost his fighting spirit in study and life. Until one day, Mo Yuhua sat in Su Yunjin's position, and Cheng Zheng was very surprised when he saw him. Mo Yuhua told him that Su Yunjin asked to change seats with her. After Cheng Zheng learned that Su Yunjin was back, he immediately rushed to her bedroom and asked her why she changed seats. At this time, Su Yunjin's heart was full of grief. It turned out that Su Yunjin's father passed away that day, and she became extremely silent. She deliberately switched seats with Yuhua to distance herself from Zheng. He was very worried when he saw her in this state. He didn't know how to comfort him. He had to promise not to disturb Su Yunjin before the college entrance examination. She saw that Su Yunjin was holding her emotions in her heart, so he accompanied her to run in the playground and help her vent her inner pain. The two also agreed not to disturb each other before the college entrance examination. Cheng Zheng used this restraint to silently guard Su Yunjin, who was deeply in the pain of losing his father. After that, she devoted herself to the college entrance examination review. Cheng Zheng never looked for her again, as he promised. Unknowingly, the college entrance examination came and ended in a hurry. The senior year of high school they had feared, longed for, loved and hated, and thus came to an end in the hot summer. The crowd cheered. In that brightly lit auditorium, the noisy crowd and the beating light and shadow hide the boys' and girls' vision for the future. The students wore dresses and decorations, laughing and dancing in the music. Cheng Zheng's eyes never left Su Yunjin. As Su Yunjin's best friend, Mo Yuhua also took the opportunity of the graduation party. She is going to say a brave goodbye. Wearing a plain and elegant dress, she mustered up the courage to walk up to Zhou Zi and invite him to dance. She held out her hand. But Zhou Zi still looked cynical. He casually agreed to her request, but he didn't notice the seriousness in Mo Yuhua's eyes. And Meng Shui at the graduation party of her senior year of high school, she was full of sourness that she couldn't love Cheng Zheng. She took the initiative to sit next to Su Yunjin, did not beat around the bush, but directly launched a confrontation. Meng Shui has loved Cheng Zheng for many years, but his eyes have always fallen on Su Yunjin and never looked back at himself. She completely recognized her position in Cheng Zheng's heart, and her words were more rational reminders. She has known him for 18 years and liked him for 18 years, but she is not as good as Su Yunjin's appearance in a few months. She didn't like Su Yunjin. Previously, Su Yunjin experienced the death of her father and the counterattack of her grades, and her feelings for Cheng Zheng have long changed from resistance to secret dependence. But she is still ashamed to show it because of the gap in family background. Meng Shui's words undoubtedly put her under pressure. After graduating from university, Cheng Zheng will go to the United States to inherit the family business. She didn't think about it at all. She is not qualified to think about it either. The two of them are not suitable. Meng Shui felt. Cheng Zheng is just poor Su Yunjin. Su Yunjin struggles between reality and love. Cheng Zheng took the initiative to walk up to her and invite her to dance, and the two spun side by side in the slow-paced music. Their eyes met under the light, hiding 1,000 words. Seeing Cheng Zheng's heart full of Su Yunjin, Meng Shui chose to leave silently. Even though she was full of unwillingness, she always maintained her pride and did not do anything extravagant or provocative. Her sober and restrained exit made this unrequited love in this youth a little more regrettable and decent. Fortunately, Song Ming has been silently accompanying her behind her. Su Yunjin, who has a family background gap and low self-esteem and sensitivity. She has always been a little restrained in the face of Cheng Zheng's enthusiasm. Just when the two were getting along a little cramped on the dance floor, all the lights at the scene suddenly went out, and Cheng Zheng reacted immediately, and he directly hugged Su Yunjin tightly in his arms. There is no need for words at this moment. At the same time, Mo Yuhua was also using the darkness to complete her own affairs, and she mustered up the courage of her life to step forward and kiss Zhou Zi. When the lights came on again, although the few people were a little shy to separate, they were already tacitly aware of each other's intentions, and Zhou Zi was caught off guard by this sudden kiss. Cheng Zheng looked at Su Yunjin's slightly flustered figure, and he chased after him without hesitation. When the two were alone in the night outside the party, he could no longer hide his feelings in his heart, and expressed his love to Su Yunjin bluntly. He also eagerly met her to apply for university in Beijing, and he was looking forward to the two being in the same city. They can continue this youth on the same campus. Su Yunjin felt that she couldn't get into such a good university. Cheng Zheng felt that there was absolutely no problem for her to be admitted to an ordinary university in Beijing. He confessed his love to her. He also invited her to Beijing with him. Facing Cheng Zheng's agreement, Su Yunjin did not readily agree, but was silent. In fact, at this time, she had already made the decision to apply for a university in Shanghai due to her mother's concern and the low self-esteem of her family disparity with Cheng Zheng. She couldn't tell this cruel truth to Cheng Zheng, who was full of joy. This kiss is a sweet signal of love in Cheng Zheng's eyes. This seemingly hopeful agreement was doomed from the beginning. In the end, they separated peacefully. In fact, she will always remember that night. Cheng Zheng's eyes were as shining as when they first met. This kiss was actually a memento of her farewell to him. He was fixed there like a fool. She said goodbye to him silently in her heart. Youth can be ignored, but the adult world is full of trade-offs. We all stumble in our youth, but few people teach us how to love and respect the differences of others. After Su Yunjin and Cheng Zheng said goodbye to the high school campus, she came to college life. Life in the freshman year came quietly and passed away quietly. Her obscure and dim inferiority complex and dazedness in high school seemed to come to an end with the end of the year. Cheng Zheng has not been heard from and has gradually faded out of her world. Su Yunjin was admitted to a university in Shanghai. After she entered university, her family was poor. She has always wanted to find part-time subsidies to pay for expenses. She went to the school library to work as a part-time administrator. The classmates introduced her to her senior brother Shen Juan, who had been working here for 2 years, and she could ask him at any time. Shen Juan cared very much for Su Yunjin, not only patiently explaining the library's work rules when she first joined the company. He also often deliberately visited her in the library. Once Su Yunjin didn't catch up with a meal and could only eat biscuits to satisfy his hunger, Shen Juan was very distressed when he saw. Not only did he take on part of the library work for her, but he also specially helped her introduce a new part-time job to earn extra money. He introduced her to the work. The next day, Shen Juan personally accompanied Su Yunjin to do this work. The two got along well when working, talking, and laughing, and this experience also relaxed Su Yunjin's tense nerves. The relationship between the two has also heated up further. Su Yunjin has a calm personality and is serious and down-to-earth at work. This restraint of hers particularly attracted Shen Juan. The two gradually developed a tacit understanding due to their similar family backgrounds and introverted personalities, and they got along very harmoniously. Ideals and dreams are out of her reach. As long as she can live a plain life, she will be very happy. That's good. When Shen Juan accompanied Su Yunjin to work, he did not have the shelf of a senior and was busy with her throughout the process. In between work, he will also take the initiative to find topics to chat with her to relieve the fatigue of work. This special treatment made Su Yunjin, who had an ordinary family background and a sensitive heart, particularly useful, and gradually let go of his unfamiliarity. They are getting closer. The close interaction between the two was quickly noticed by the people around her, and Su Yunjin's best friend Mo Yuhua specially asked her to inquire. He also ridiculed Shen Juan's unusual mind. Shen Juan is not just taking care of her little junior sister. He has long liked her. Su Yunjin thinks he is so good and has many girls who like him. Su Yunjin faced her best friend's questioning. She said that she was just a senior helping, but her tone was a little more panicked and reserved. Her subconscious maintenance just shows that her attitude towards Shen Juan is different. Every time she saw him, she thought of Qing Feng. And she thought of Cheng Zheng, and only the sky collapsed. And the next second, the familiar voice came from not far away. Cheng Zheng suddenly appeared on Su Yunjin's college campus without warning, breaking the peaceful atmosphere between her and her best friend. This undoubtedly gave Su Yunjin a fright. He said hello. He asked Su Yunjin if he was surprised, and it was at this moment. Shen Juan came to Su Yunjin. He wanted to ask her to go around the countryside. Rivals meet, and the atmosphere is tense. Cheng Zheng wondered who this man was. He introduced himself as Yunjin's boyfriend first. In the face of provocation, Cheng Zheng was not to be outdone. Their for-tat conversation instantly made the atmosphere tense, and Su Yunjin was caught in the middle, both surprised and at a loss. She introduced Cheng Zheng as a high school classmate who went to college at Tsinghua University. After this meeting, Cheng Zheng, Su Yunjin, Shen Juan, and Cheng Zheng's sister Zhang Yu went out to play together. On the way, Zhang Yu took the initiative to show favor to Shen Juan. Several people knew each other in this way, and they came to the Daxiong Treasure Hall to play and pray together. In the temple blessing session, several of them left their names and wishes on the merit book. Su Yunjin has always longed for a stable life, and she wrote about ordinary life. When Cheng Zheng wrote down his wish, he deliberately hid it and did not want Su Yunjin to see. Zhang Yu took the initiative to invite Shen Juan to buy water together, leaving Cheng Zheng and Su Yunjin alone at the scene. In the solemn atmosphere of the monastery, Cheng Zheng could no longer hold back his inner emotions. He pulled Su Yunjin to confide in his longing, and then suddenly hugged her. Su Yunjin panicked and anxious. She tried to push him away, but Chung Zheng was emotional and forcibly kissed Su Yunjin. The bodhisattvas are watching. Chung Zheng felt very sad. When Shen Juan and the two came back from buying water, they happened to see the picture of Chung Zheng forcibly kissing Su Yunjin. Although Su Yunjin had a move to push Chung Zheng away, Shen Juan had already realized that Su Yunjin actually cared about Chung Zheng in his heart. This also planted the seeds of estrangement between him and Su Yunjin. After this trip to the temple, the four of them had a dinner. As soon as the show started, Chung Zheng took the initiative to hand over wine to Su Yunjin with an obvious competitive mentality. He knew that Su Yunjin was not good at drinking, and this move was more like provoking Shen Juan, and at the same time testing Su Yunjin's attitude towards himself. Shen Juan immediately came forward to stop and took the initiative to block Su Yunjin's wine, and the secret fight between the two became more and more obvious. Chung Zheng was unwilling to back down when he saw this, and insisted on asking Su Yunjin to take the wine. Su Yunjin was sandwiched between the two, in a dilemma. In order to break the deadlock, she could only pick up the wine glass and drink it all. But she was already overwhelmed by alcohol, and after this glass of wine was eaten, she soon became drunk and unconscious. Chung Zheng wanted to know why Su Yunjin never contacted him again after kissing him that night. Shen Juan never asked why. Su Yunjin was drunk and lay on the table. She subconsciously shouted Chung Zheng's name in a daze. This scene completely made Shen Ju feel at ease. This also made him clear that he had not been able to enter Su Yunjin's heart after all, and he was just an outsider after all. Chung Zheng, really, but he was not willing to do so. He still decided to formally confess to Su Yunjin and make a final attempt at the relationship. He offered to accompany her to live the plain life she wanted. His confession is not gorgeous, but more like a pragmatic promise. In the face of Shen Juan's confession, Su Yunjin chose to refuse silently. Faced with this material temptation, Shen Juan felt that it was difficult for her to be calm. Su Yunjin tried to defend herself, but Shen Juan asked her back. Didn't she feel Chung Zheng at all? He wanted to impress Su Yunjin, who had always been insecure due to family circumstances and other factors, with the stable life he could provide. She knew in her heart that Shen Juan was good, and she was grateful for his constant care, but Su Yunjin couldn't deceive herself. She always had Chung Zheng in her heart. Shen Juan, who was rejected, remained calm on the surface, but his heart is already turned upside down. After this failed confession, he completely let go of his obsession with Su Yunjin. After Su Yunjin sobered up, he didn't remember his drunken words at all, and he didn't know the reason for Shen Juan's coldness. She subjectively believed that Chung Zheng said something unpleasant to Shen Juan behind her back, which led to the breakdown of the relationship between the two. So she ran angrily to the hotel where Chung Zheng was staying to ask for forgiveness. Faced with Su Yunjin's anger, Chung Zheng was confused and had no idea why she suddenly attacked. It wasn't until the two argued that Su Yunjin learned the truth about his drunken, shouting his name from the conversation. At this moment, she realized that she had completely misunderstood Chung Zheng, and Shen Juan's estrangement had nothing to do with Chung Zheng. After finding out the truth, Su Yunjin was ashamed and annoyed. She was unwilling to admit her feelings for Chung Zheng because of her low self-esteem. This time she made an oolong, which made her even more at a loss. She was angry and duplicitously expressed her dislike for Chung Zheng. "I don't like you." She said this repeatedly. Nothing disappoints him more than this sentence. Maybe after that day, he finally learned to slowly erase the girl he once loved but disappointed him from his heart. This sentence deeply stung Chung Zheng, who had always been obsessed with her. Since then, he has never taken the initiative to go to Shanghai to find Su Yunjin. She never came again. Not long after, Shen Juan also graduated. I heard that he went to work at a large company. After that, they never contacted each other again. Su Yunjin's college life seems to have finally returned to peace. Years later, Ma Yuhua became an intern when she participated in the patient handover work in the hospital. She heard the director brief on the patient, who was admitted to the hospital in a car accident and diagnosed with a traumatic head injury. The patient was also accompanied by symptoms such as cerebral fluid leakage and multiple skin abrasions all over the body. And this patient is Zhou Zi. For Mo Yuhua, the person he had been thinking about in the past appeared in front of him in such an embarrassed and painful appearance. This is undoubtedly a huge impact on her. After she learned about Zhou Zi's situation, Mo Yuhua did not choose to distance herself, but took the initiative to take on more responsibilities to take care of. She took advantage of the convenience of her internship to find time to stay by Zhou Zi's bedside every day. She paid close attention to the changes in his condition. In order to help the injured Zhou Zi relieve her discomfort, she would also whisper bedtime stories to relieve boredom by his side, like a friend. Her unrequited dedication is full of feelings that she has hidden in her heart for many years. Under Mo Yuhua's careful care, Zhou Zi gradually recovered. This special time together eased the relationship between the two. Even later, Zhou Zi took the initiative to meet Mo Yuhua, and the two had a close time together. And Su Yunjin, under the repeated urging of her mother, had to give up her part-time job during the holidays and return to her hometown early. Her mother said that Uncle Wu worked as an accountant in the town's garment factory, and his lover had died for many years. He helped the family a lot. The mother couldn't make up her mind, so she asked her daughter for her opinion. Su Yunjin did not refuse immediately. She could see that her mother had a care in her later years, and happily agreed. When she was about to reach the door, she suddenly saw Cheng Zheng squatting next to her, and the two met their eyes. Cheng Zheng's face immediately showed a bright smile. It turned out that Cheng Zheng's mother had bought a nearby garment factory, and he stopped by to take a look at Su Yunjin. That night, Su Yunjin was busy weaving bamboo lanterns in the attic to subsidize the family. After seeing it, Cheng Zheng asked about the price of the lanterns and learned that each lantern was sold for 8 yuan and 5. After Su Yunjin was able to make up 5 in one night, he casually offered to give 50 yuan for Su Yunjin to chat with him. Su Yunjin retorted helplessly that these 42 yuan and 5 were the living expenses of her and her mother for 2 days, not something that Cheng Zheng's family could measure at will if they had money. After she finished speaking, she got up and went back to the house. But Cheng Zheng was not angry. Instead, he silently remembered it in his heart, and he still learned to weave lanterns clumsily at night, and his palms were scratched by bamboo strips. Early the next morning, Su Yunjin went out and saw Cheng Zheng lying asleep on the windowsill. After Cheng Zheng woke up, he showed her the rabbit lantern he had woven overnight like a treasure. Those lanterns either lack ears or have short tails, and their appearance is very funny. This made Su Yunjin laugh dumbly. These lanterns are comical yet adorable. She found that his hand was injured. She looked at Cheng Zheng's scratched hands and those ugly lanterns. Su Yunjin's previous resistance to him quietly loosened, and Cheng Zheng took advantage of the situation to ask Su Yunjin to accompany him to Beijing after graduation. This time Su Yunjin did not refuse, she softly agreed to him. The relationship between the two has taken an important step in getting along in this hometown. The campus during the graduation season is full of partying atmosphere. Su Yunjin walked in it, full of confusion about the future and her powerlessness in this relationship. Mo Yuhua, as her best friend, saw through her loss. She took the initiative to accompany her for a walk on campus. She listened to Su Yunjin's troubles while comforting her softly. She persuaded Su Yunjin not to get too drunk, and there will always be a solution to the dilemma of relationship and work. Now that there are so many graduates, it is difficult for everyone to find a job. Her companionship gave Su Yunjin a lot of comfort in the loss. Just as the two were walking and chatting, Mo Yuhua received a message from Zhou Zi, asking her to meet. After Mo Yuhua went to the appointment, he and Zhou Zi had a short time in the car. But at this time, Zhou Zi had no love for him, and after the intimate contact, Zhou Zi went to the trunk to get water. His cell phone rang suddenly. Mo Yuhua saw that the caller ID was another girl, and her heart instantly surged with sourness and loss. That girl was Zhou Zi's dream goddess in high school, which made Mo Yuhua completely realize that he could not replace her. She had to hand over the phone silently. After graduating from university, Su Yunjin devoted herself to submitting her resume in Beijing. But all her deliveries sank into the sea, and after repeatedly hitting a wall, she had to give up this idea. At this time, a classmate introduced her to a job opportunity in Shanghai. For Su Yunjin at that time, this job was a pragmatic choice for her to solve her livelihood. She also quickly decided to stay in the familiar Shanghai. She completely gave up the idea of going to Beijing. Cheng Zheng is full of expectations that Su Yunjin can come to Beijing to stay with. When he took the initiative to call Su Yunjin, his heart was full of longing for the future. But on the other end of the phone, Su Yunjin truthfully told him that he had accepted the job introduced by his classmates and wanted to stay in Shanghai. This news instantly ignited Cheng Zheng's anger. He couldn't accept Su Yunjin's violation of the previous tacit understanding between the two. He felt that she didn't take the future of the two of them to heart at all. He accused her of breaking the agreement on the phone. But in fact, Su Yunjin has worked hard, but has not gotten results, and she can't rely on her boyfriend to make a living. Su Yunjin was already sensitive and inferior due to frustrated job hunting and ordinary family background, and Cheng Zheng's accusations made her particularly angry. She retorted that Cheng Zheng did not understand his embarrassment at all, and the gap between the two could not be filled by a passion. The call ended in a heated dispute. Su Yunjin knew that Cheng Zheng really cared about the future of the two, and felt very guilty, so he immediately bought a train ticket from Shanghai to Beijing that night. She wanted to appease Cheng Zheng in person, but on the train, she and Cheng Zheng only found out when they got on the phone. Cheng Zheng couldn't let her go, and had already bought a train ticket from Beijing to Shanghai. The two, who went in both directions, finally agreed to get off the train at the train station on the way to meet. When two trains were moving in opposite directions. When the train finally stopped, the two crossed the track and headed straight for each other. This rush across the track is full of concern for each other. This also released the long-suppressed relationship between the two. Both of them couldn't wait to cross the tracks and run towards each other. At that time, the scene was noisy, for Su Yunjin was full of anxiety, so she just ran forward. She didn't see Cheng Zheng for a while. Just when she was flustered, Cheng Zheng's shout came. Only then did she lock Cheng Zhang's position. Looked at him. The sweet hug between the two when they met was full of joy like a long separation. This scene also became a very infectious and warm moment in the relationship between the two. After meeting, the two stayed in a hotel in Taiwan together, which coincided with the night of snowflakes. There were 2 beds in that room, and the atmosphere was particularly ambiguous and pure. Cheng Zhang used "very cold" as an excuse to get directly into Su Yunjin's bed, and Su Yunjin did not resist fiercely in the face of this sudden closeness. But her body was as tense as a stone. She took the girl to face the person she liked with shyness and restrainedness, without the slightest disgust. But in fact, she also implied her heart for Cheng Zhang. I touched my hand. It's hot. What are you doing? Cheng Zhang, put on your pants. Okay. In 2012, Cheng Zhang did not hesitate too much and offered to live together. And Su Yunjin also acquiesced to this proposal because of the love in his heart. The two started living together. I can't live in a house as big as the Zhang family, but I have to squeeze into this small attic. While several people were laughing, Zhou Zi's mobile phone rang suddenly, and he picked up the phone and took a look. He got up and walked aside to answer the phone. Prince Songming casually mentioned the arrangement of Cheng Zhang's parents, and Cheng's father hoped that Cheng Zhang would go to the United States for development. He has the blessing of high-quality resources, which is a good opportunity that many people envy. But after Cheng Zhang heard, he just casually said a few perfunctory words. But in fact, he was silently indicating that it was for Su Yunjin. He had long since given up on his plans to go to the United States. He wanted to go to the United States and take Su Yunjin directly. At that time, the weather was hot and dry, and Su Yunjin knew that Cheng Zhang was working hard to install furniture. So he and his girlfriend Mo Yuhua made a refreshing mung bean soup together. She brought it to the room to relieve everyone's heat, which also interrupted the conversation between Cheng Zhang and Song. Mo Yuhua also took advantage of the situation to distribute the bowl to Zhou Zi. Zhou Zi said he was leaving. He hesitated for a moment. He told Mo Yuhua that he was going to marry Chen Jiejie next week. Mo Yuhua still congratulated him. Maybe there are so many regrets in life. When Zhou Zi clearly told Mo Yuhua that she wanted to marry Chen Jiejie, Mo Yuhua already knew in her heart that it was impossible for her and Zhou Zi. She pretended to be calm and sent her blessings, without showing the slightest gap. She looked at the bracelet given to her by Zhou Zi and pondered for a long time, and finally made up her mind to leave when she had a heart-to-heart talk with Su Yunjin. He never admitted that she was his girlfriend. He didn't love Mo Yuhua at all. Although she didn't regret it, she felt that she was leaving. She frankly confessed the grievances of her crush for many years, but Zhou Zi just relied on her liking for him. Frustrated, she finally chose to go to Germany. She wants to leave this sad place full of memories completely. She wanted to end this unsuccessful crush. Su Yunjin could only tell her to take good care of herself. It turns out that there is no snow in Dublin in winter. In the end, Mo Yuhua went to Trinity College Dublin. That was the farthest she could choose. Mo Yuhua's growth trajectory hides a cruel but true truth. Not all efforts are rewarded. Not all likes can blossom and bear fruit. But those sincere concerns, restrained protection, and rational letting go will eventually precipitate into their own lives. Su Yunjin and Cheng Zhang went through twists and turns and entered a period of love. Cheng Zhang put on gorgeous shoes for Su Yunjin and changed into a decent outfit. They were invited by Zhang Yu to attend the party together, and after arriving, she accidentally bumped into Shen Juan. What surprised her even more was that Shen Juan appeared as Zhang Yu's fiancé at this time. The senior who once had a youthful intersection with himself has now become the other half of his lover's sister, and the relationship has changed. Su Yunjin was particularly surprised. At this time, Shen Juan had long lost the youth and warmth of his college days, and he was full of snobbery and reality. He even did not shy away from admitting to Su Yunjin that what he wanted to marry was only the name Zhang Yu, her surname, and the family power behind her. He actually didn't love the woman in front of him that much at all. For him, this marriage is completely a springboard for clinging to the powerful. He also mistakenly classified Su Yunjin as a climber of his own, which made Su Yunjin completely despise him. When she came out of the party at Zhang Yu's house, it suddenly rained heavily in the sky. The two of them walked quickly in the rain with umbrellas. She looked at the standing water under her feet. She subconsciously took off her shoes for fear of getting them dirty or broken. Cheng Zhang saw through her concerns, didn't say much, just turned around and squatted down, carrying Su Yunjin home. Cheng Zheng carried her steadily and stepped through the standing water step by step, and the rain wet his hair and shoulders. He didn't care, but chatted with Su Yunjin with a smile, his tone full of pampering. She asked Cheng Zheng if he would marry her. Cheng Zheng was pleasantly surprised. She asked him again. He shouted happily, of course. At that moment, she bumped into Shun Juan's accident at the party, and her anxiety about class differences seemed to be temporarily washed away by the rain. Soon after, Su Yunjin's family changed, and her mother suddenly suffered from cancer. She urgently needed a large surgical fee to save her life. Her stepfather did not have a stable and well-paid income. He faced this huge medical bill. Completely helpless, Su Yunjin's mother was diagnosed with cervical cancer, and the condition has been controlled. But she is in urgent need of surgery now, and she needs a lot of money, 180,000 yuan. Her stepfather embezzled money from his company in a hurry, and the company he worked for happened to be a factory run by Cheng Zheng's family. It was the Cheng family's funds that were misappropriated. This news put Su Yunjin, who was already extremely sensitive and inferior in her relationship due to the gap in family background, into a huge dilemma. Su Yunjin, who has strong self-esteem, has never wanted to rely on Cheng Zheng in her relationship, and she is afraid that this relationship will become mixed with interests and no longer pure. She could only run around to raise money, but it was far from enough to make up for the arrears. In desperation, she found Shin Juan, who had good financial conditions, for help. Shin Juan helped her collect the money for repayment, temporarily relieving her urgent need. Cheng Zheng learned about Su Yunjin's predicament through Uncle Wu. He was angry and anxious. He couldn't understand why Su Yunjin would rather find friends. She even went to ask her ex-boyfriend Shin Juan for help, but refused to confess to herself. He directly took out enough money to help Su Yunjin pay off the arrears, but Su Yunjin refused without thinking. He angrily asked Su Yunjin why he went to Shin Juan. She explains to him that her stepfather got the job because of his connections. Now that there is a problem with the accounts, she can't use his money to fill the loopholes, otherwise it won't be clear. Su Yunjin's refusal completely stung Cheng Zheng. In his cognition, the two are close lovers, and each other's predicament should be shared by each other. In his opinion, Su Yunjin's approach is not to treat him as his own and not to trust him. In the face of Cheng Zheng's questioning, Su Yunjin never explained her self-esteem and concerns too much, and only insisted on her own opinion with an indifferent attitude. She went to Shin Juan to borrow money. It's because he's just like her. Know how terrible poverty is. Cheng Zheng found Shin Juan with money far exceeding the amount owed. After seeing Shin Juan, his repressed emotions completely exploded, and there were no unnecessary pleasantries. He smashed the money directly at the other party. The banknotes were scattered all over the sky, as if to vent his anger and tell his own frustrations. He also angrily warned Shin Juan to stay away from Su Yunjin. His words were full of possessiveness and hostility after being hurt. Shin Juan looked very calm in the face of this scene. He said coldly that he just wanted to help Yunjin. My woman doesn't need your help, but when she needs help now, she is looking for me, not you. This sentence stuck in Cheng Zheng's heart like a needle, causing his self-esteem to be greatly humiliated. After he vented his anger, his inner grievances and loss did not diminish at all, and he could only run to the bar to drink to relieve his sorrow. Soon he was drunk. Song Ming, who was traveling with him, saw this. He really had no choice but to call Su Yunjin. He asked her to come over to pick up Cheng Zheng. When Su Yunjin rushed to the private room of the bar, Cheng Zheng is in a state of drunkenness and loss of control. When he saw Su Yunjin come in, he not only did not restrain himself, instead, he deliberately made hurtful moves. At that time, Meng Shui, who had been secretly in love with Cheng Zheng for many years, was also present. Cheng Zheng directly stretched out his hand and hugged Meng Shui. Meng Shui was very confused the moment she was hugged. She has both a hint of trance from being touched by the person she likes, and the embarrassment of being used as a tool. Song Ming on the side saw this scene, and his eyes instantly darkened. Su Yunjin did not argue with Cheng Zheng, but asked Song Ming to help send Cheng Zheng home. Then she turned around and left the private room. Her indifferent reaction made Cheng Zheng instantly lose his previous arrogance, and his drunkenness faded a lot. After that, Cheng Zheng walked out of the bar and was pushed by Song Ming angrily. Song Ming probably can't get used to him treating feelings in this way of hurting others and hurting himself. Cheng Zheng used to be the pride of the sky, with a well-off family background and a flamboyant personality. But at this moment, he was not half arrogant. In fact, he is also quite pitiful. Meng Shui has known Cheng Zheng for 18 years, and this Cheng Zheng has become unrecognizable for love. This is the same as the dazzling boy in her memory. She was not only sorry that she couldn't love Cheng Zheng, but also finally bid farewell to this unrequited love for more than 10 years. Cheng Zheng finally squatted on the ground with his ears covered, his heart full of frustration after emotional setbacks. He completely accepted his failure in the relationship. Cheng Zheng carried the smell of alcohol in the bar. When he returned home in embarrassment, when he opened the door and saw the empty room, his heart was already faintly uneasy. When Cheng Zheng was lying on the sofa, Su Yunjin took out the IOU that had been written and put it in front of him. The IOU clearly stated the specific amount of her stepfather's embezzlement and the deadline for her promised repayment. For Su Yunjin, this IOU is her last line of defense to maintain her self-esteem. But for Chungzheng, this piece of paper was like a sharp knife, cutting his feelings beyond recognition. Her previously suppressed emotions instantly broke through the critical point. He roared and asked Su Yunjin what he wanted to pay off the debt in his heart. He couldn't figure it out. He loved him with all his heart and was willing to give up his future in Beijing for her and accompany her to live an ordinary life in Shanghai. But in his heart, the relationship between the two could not withstand the gap in reality after all, and her fragile self-esteem. In the end, it was necessary to rely on an IOU to clarify. Those fragments were scattered all over the ground, just like his sincerity that was completely shattered, and also announced the complete end of this relationship that was repeatedly pulled by reality and self-esteem. To this day, exactly 6 years. It's over after all. In the end, Chungzheng was determined to go to the United States and completely cut off this bond that made him painful. Before Chungzheng left for the airport, Songming found Su Yunjin and told her that Chungzheng was going to take a plane to the United States. When Su Yunjin heard the news, she was still calm on the surface and did not show strong mood swings. She was not without waves in her heart, but her self-esteem in her bones did not allow her to bow her head. She didn't go to the airport to see her off, and finally only sent a text message to Chungzheng, which only contained a promise that the arrears would be paid off within 2 years and a polite blessing. There is no half-sentence of retention and reluctance. At this time, Chungzheng was still holding the last glimmer of expectation. After he couldn't wait for the response he wanted, he completely gave up his thoughts and boarded a flight to the United States. Time passed quietly. Su Yunjin was not depressed because of the breakup, but devoted all her energy to her work. She was already introverted, and after experiencing a heavy blow to her feelings, she became more taciturn. She deliberately alienated her past social circle. She followed the 2-year term she promised. She transfers money to Chungzheng every month. She never said a word when transferring money. She didn't say a word of greetings, but only maintained the only remaining contact between the two with cold transfer records. Time is a terrible thing. It smooths everything out. It scrapes away the good or bad traces in the heart, leaving only a blurred scar. For a long time after they broke up, his shadow is everywhere. He always stood at every street intersection, and every time he turned around, he saw a familiar figure in a trance. A full 24 months. This way became the only link between them. In addition, she seemed to remember less and less about him. Her heart was full of indescribable emptiness, so she came to the suburban temple she had gone to with Chungzheng. For her, it was a place where she could get a moment of peace. She worshipped devoutly as before, and then still wrote the 4 words, ordinary life, in the merit book. This is what she has always yearned for. But the moment she wrote her handwriting, she realized that behind this flatness was all the regrets that she had deliberately suppressed. Just as she was about to leave after writing, the melodious bells of the temple suddenly rang. The bell seemed to have magic, instantly evoking her memories. She thought about forgetting, but she couldn't do it at all. At least please tell me where it is not good enough. Does the Bodhisattva know how sad I feel? Her mind kept flashing back to the picture of Chungzheng here. At this moment, she was suddenly extremely curious about what kind of wish Chungzheng had written back then. Su Yunjin hurriedly stopped the monk and begged the other party to take out the merit book over the years. She looked through the pages carefully. She finally found Chungzheng's handwriting. What shocked her was Chungzheng didn't write any conventional wishes at all, and there were only 3 words Su Yunjin on the paper. She then flipped back and found that from 2010 to 2015, the annual merit book was on. Chungzheng will leave this name at the same time. Even if he has flown to the United States, he has never stopped. The handwriting on those yellowed pages broke her pretending to be strong. At this moment she understood. Chungzheng's love has never been impulsive and fiery, but a silent and firm guard. She couldn't hold back her tears anymore and slid down her cheeks and dripped onto the pages with her name written on them. It was at this moment that she completely let go of her inner obsession and no longer dwelled on the self-esteem and estrangement of the past. She immediately made up her mind to go to the United States and take the initiative to find Chungzheng, who had always loved her deeply. After she arrived in Manhattan, New York, she could only take a map and wander around the streets to inquire about Chungzheng's whereabouts. The two had been disconnected for a long time. Do you also have such a person in your heart? After he left, life went on. The traces he left behind were gradually erased by the ordinary days, and those distant and bright youth years have slowly withered in the yellowed and faded memories. She did not ask Chungzheng to give him a specific address and place of work in the United States. but could only search aimlessly with his understanding of Cheng Zheng and sporadic clues. At that time, the light passed, going around in circles. Will that person still be in the original place? The film is adapted from the novel, so you are still here, and there are linkages between the characters in many books such as Allow Me to See You. If you like it, you can go to the original text to view it. The film is already one of the few immortal lineups. It became the box office champion of youth films with a box office of more than 300 million yuan. But due to the impermanence of reality, let the regrets on and off the screen be completely intertwined. It wanted to teach us the trade-offs and perseverance in youth. Reality tells us in a more cruel way. Some mistakes cannot be recovered, and some people can never return to their original place. Never wait lightly. What a luxury it is.